I feel like I haven't done anything to even warrant small talk at the beginning of the podcast. I've just been working and sleeping.
Working and sleeping?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
So forgive the low energy if we have it, people. But welcome to episode 21 of Soccer Situations. It's a soccer culture podcast. For the moment, well, let's introduce ourselves. That's right. People, we might be picking up new listeners. You never know.
That's true.
Got to be optimistic. Yeah, I think, anyway, I'm Todd.
And I'm Alex.
I'm a little spacey today. Yeah, I had a pretty relaxing day, to be honest. I don't have a good excuse, but I did take a late afternoon nap, and I'm still kind of recovering from that. So it's not about me right now, Alex. We need an even more urgent safety and wellness check on Arsenal fans this week.
Oh. I mean, I got to say, Arsenal fans as a whole, it's a very mixed bag of emotions going on, I feel like. There's a lot of frustrations, and then there's a lot of fans that are just like, we're enjoying the ride. This is fine.
Sure.
Which is probably a coping mechanism right now for the way things are going. But I still don't know how to feel after that result. It was pretty shocking.
Right, because you had the really inspirational comeback almost to kind of give you complex feelings. So
Exactly.
You couldn't have pure rage.
Yeah, if we would have lost that 3-1, I just would have been straight up depressed.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't get to watch the last 20 minutes or so with Alex. No, the last half an hour, I think.
Yeah.
I had to head off to work, and I was a little worried to leave you behind. I didn't know how it was going to go. It was
pretty dark.
3-1. It was 2-1 at the time.
2-1 at the time.
They scored a third. I got to work and was able to watch the rest of it without sound on a TV at work. And they scored a third soon after I sat down to watch that.
66th minute, they took the 3-1 lead.
But yeah, then Arsenal.
It took them a little while to get through.
North of the wrong side of the 80th minute, I feel like, before they got moving. 88th minute,
they got the goal that sparked it, and it was like, that goal needed to come probably about 10 minutes earlier than it did.
Yeah.
If we could have gotten it by the 75th, I think we would have had a chance of squeaking out a win there.
Yeah, the win was coming. It's undeniable.
Yeah, the time just ran out, unfortunately, especially with the way, there was a lot of time wasting. There was a lot of injuries. There's just a lot of slow play.
Yeah.
So I was hoping we got 8 minutes, so I guess I can't complain too much. But
right.
I was hoping for a couple more minutes of added time to get that extra goal.
Yeah. Let's bring up the theme and we'll come back to it.
All right.
Soccer situation.
Yeah, so anyway, I finished out the game at work, and I was really disappointed by a couple of local Liverpool fans sitting at the bar in there. These nerds were cheering Southampton.
What?
And,
It's madness.
they hear me cheering for Arsenal, and they turn around, "Are you a Gunner?" I'm like, "No, I'm a Liverpool guy, but, I'm rooting for Arsenal here." And they're like, "Oh, we want Arsenal to feel the same suffering we felt." I'm like,
So salty.
what? I'm like, come on, man. You want Manchester City to win? I'm like, it's so boring if Manchester City wins again. And what? It's been a long time since Arsenal won it. That's the other thing.
That's the other thing. It's like it's not like we've been dominating. And there's a reason to hate us right now.
Right. It hasn't been a bounty of trophies at Arsenal in the past decade.
No, and obviously this isn't quite like the Leicester story because obviously Arsenal are a big club and have spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
But this is an underdog story against the giant, and Liverpool was too for the past 5 seasons in a row.
And back then, I was really mad when people weren't rooting, when neutrals weren't pulling for Liverpool.
I also couldn't believe that either.
City to win, the clear villain. They're Iceland from Mighty Ducks 2, man.
Yeah, they're the enemy.
And now I'm seeing it from a different angle. Yeah, people pulling the same shit against. It's like, I don't know.
It's crazy.
I guess I just have a different moral base than some people, but I don't see how you pull for Manchester City to win if you're not specifically a Man City fan.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
The club that can spend the most money out of everybody has spent the most money and has just dominated the game, seemingly possibly unfairly, for the past decade.
And that's just it is. I think it's a lot of new fans that don't really know how irrelevant Man City used to be.
Yeah.
And B, they don't tie morality and politics into sport.
Yeah.
Like
we
more
do
obsessive
times.
people do. I think politics, and obviously as hosting this podcast, I think it's obvious that we think politics and culture and everything are intrinsically mixed into the game.
Yeah.
That's why we love it so much, and that's why we do this. But I think some people are just taking it on the surface as a fun sport to watch. And I
Yeah.
guess
More casual fan.
I guess that's fine, but I'm still offended when people pull for Man City.
Yeah, because that one seems almost glaringly obvious that that's the enemy, unless you're a fan of that team.
Yeah.
But, people
Yeah.
are going to be salty no matter what if their team's not winning, I guess.
Yeah, but we don't need to be too salty about Man City.
I mean, the game was an entertaining game. You can't, say anything other than that. Like,
Yeah.
The way it shook out was honestly, a complete emotional roller coaster. I was just in shock when the final whistle went.
Right.
And I was like, I can't believe. Because we also, during that time, I think hit the crossbar. Nelson had one just go inches wide of the post. So we almost won it. And then, frustratingly enough, Partey, who's been so good for us and is the reason where we are where we are, just takes the most frustrating shot of all time.
Just that you're screaming at him as he runs up to it, right?
With the last kick of the game, just everybody forward, tons of passes on to out wide to get the ball in the box.
Yeah.
And he just takes a terribly timed shot way over the bar.
Yeah, it was
and
frustrating.
then the whistle goes, and it's just like, oh.
It's excruciating, isn't
That's
it?
not how you want it to end.
No.
If they had another good chance and then it ended, it would have even felt a little better, I think.
Right.
Like if we had a good play going and it went in the box and the keeper made a save or the last clearance and it goes out, then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But to have that just sail over the net
Yeah,
with just like,
it wasn't a good hit.
The deflation of that ball going over the net was just brutal.
Yeah, that's tough. But I'm going to take it as a silver lining because now there's no plan for a draw on Wednesday.
It's true.
Arsenal have to go to City and they have to play. They have to go
win.
for. They have to go for
They have
the
to play to
throat.
win.
And again, if we're talking from a neutral's perspective, obviously I'm not completely neutral in this case, but this title is as tight as it gets now.
Yeah, this is as tight as it gets. I mean, it's no longer fully in Arsenal's hands. They have to do a job at City to get this back on their side. And that's going to be, it's going to be fun to watch.
Also, a little cheery, fun note for Arsenal fans.
Yes.
It's St. Tottenham's Day.
Yes. It was a little overshadowed by some disappointment, but...
Right. Do you want to explain it to people?
Yes. So St. Tottenham's Day is the day in the season at which Tottenham can mathematically no longer finish above Arsenal in the table. And to be fair to Tottenham fans, if we ever have any Tottenham fan listeners, because we, shit on them pretty often, they have finished above us more often than not in recent history.
Right.
So this is actually a monumental day, even though it felt so deflating the way the draw happened. But the point meant that we get to celebrate something.
We might have a Tottenham fan listening. I don't know if comedian Nick Tenaglia is listening or if I just pronounced his name right. But we've been in touch with him about having him on as a guest and hopefully can arrange that soon. Sorry, Nick, we've been slow to arrange that.
Yep.
But Nick is a Tottenham fan.
That's right, yes.
And so we're going to have to learn to be a little bit more respectful.
Yeah, I guess so.
We're told by a very credible source that Nick's a super funny comedian, a good guy.
Yeah.
So, we hope to have Nick on soon.
Yeah, that'll give us some good banter then.
Yeah, we've had a United fan already on, and actually, I want to have Graham back on. Graham, if you're listening, hit me up. We should have you on. We should have you on before the FA Cup final.
Oh, absolutely.
Which we'll come on to in a little bit.
Should we jump to that Tottenham result?
Yeah, let's talk Tottenham since
Newcastle.
We're on that tip. Yeah, so we saw one of the most stunning opening 20 minutes of a game we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely baffling stuff. Considering the two teams, I mean, Newcastle obviously are in good form, but, you expect Tottenham to show up for a game like this against a bigger club.
They did not show up.
No, that was one of the most confusing performances I've ever seen. I think it was highlighted perfectly by Isak's celebration for the fifth goal. I think it was the fifth goal. He was just like confusedly looking around, what's happening here?
I just described the game as stunning, and that became the theme of the goal celebrations. The players were just acting more and more stunned by what was happening.
Yeah.
To formally say it, we had 5 goals in the opening 20 minutes. 5 goals. 5 goals in the opening 20 minutes. It was insane. The minutes were of the goals: Jacob Murphy in the 2nd minute, Joe Linton in the 6th, Murphy again in the 9th, and then Isak in the 19th and 21st.
Yeah.
These were rapid-fire goals. It was like
And
a
all
machine gun into the
very
net.
beautiful goals,
Some
too.
stunning goals.
Beautiful football, like in different types of goals
Right.
as well. Joe Willock played an unbelievable ball with the outside of his foot.
That was the
Isak
first
in.
Isak goal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an unreal
Outside
ball.
curler, just peeled around the defenders right onto his foot. Beautiful stuff.
Such a good take, calmly finished.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Linton, the same thing, a similar thing.
Yeah, I said at
Ball
the
up in
time,
the back.
Joe Linton took a ball down and showed composure that no one would have imagined him showing 2 years ago.
No, he seemed like a mess of a footballer when he first landed at Newcastle.
Confidence is at a completely different level. Jacob Murphy just hit screamers, having a grand old time.
Yeah, laughing his head off about it.
He scored that screamer, and his face looking absolutely stunned. He looked like he just won a car on a game show.
You know, it's funny. I feel like this might be a little bit rude, but his face reminded me of an ostrich. You know when an ostrich kind of goes, opens his mouth really wide like that?
Yeah.
That's what his mouth looked like. It reminded me kind of an ostrich face.
Absolutely see that, yeah.
Like screaming ostrich face. He was so stunned by his own goals.
Yeah. That was really fun to watch. You know, not to be hypocritical talking about the City Sports Watching Project. You know, I'm not happy about the Newcastle project either.
Yes, exactly.
But, you know.
But on the day,
That was-
watching that result just as a football match
That was like 20 minutes of like anime football. It was wild
insane.
stuff.
And it was just like Tottenham had no answer. And with every
Right.
goal that went in, it just seemed more likely that they weren't going to be able to stop them.
Right. And sure enough, after this game, interim manager Christian Stellini has been sacked. I always thought it was super weird that he stayed behind after the Conte regime was pushed out.
Yeah, clearly a kind of panic decision at the time.
It's weird because they've done Ryan Mason before, and
Yeah, so-
even with Stellini there, they had Mason in like a coaching role.
Exactly.
So why? And now Mason is officially in the interim role.
So why didn't they just do it to
wasn't
begin
it
with?
just Mason the whole time? What was Stellini bringing? It's weird that he stayed.
But Daniel Levy now, we'll see what he does next. I mean, they were still going to always be looking for a manager anyway, so it doesn't really change too much.
Right. If we're still poking fun at Spurs, we know that the fan favorite and the romantic favorite was Mauricio Pochettino, and now he's being locked in as
The odds-on favorite to be Chelsea's manager.
the reports today were very advanced talks with Chelsea.
That will definitely break some Tottenham hearts.
I have seen gossip that vice versa is happening down at Tottenham. Nagelsmann is honing in on Tottenham, which would be a funny flip from what was expected for a minute there. But I think I did read that gossip in a Tottenham fan forum, so I don't know about the
you
level
can't
of
trust that
credibility
kind of
there.
gossip. Yeah, I let myself slip to gossip pretty often.
I mean, gossip's fun. We're here for the gossip. This episode of Soccer Situations is brought to you by Littlefoot Coffee. I mean, what can I say about Littlefoot Coffee? They're not just friends of the pod, they're family of the pod, quite literally. Alex started Littlefoot years ago after more than a decade of roasting experience, roasting coffee for some of the hottest, most fashionable, and most importantly, tasty specialty coffee roasters in America. My favorite thing about it is that it's just really high-grade coffee without a drop of pretense. You're not going to find a bunch of weird, savory notes that the roaster is passing off as intentional. It's just really sweet, comforting flavors that everybody wants in their coffee. And now, for a limited time only, you can get 15% off at littlefootcoffee.com. Promo code Situations. Once again, you can get 15% off at littlefootcoffee.com using the promo code Situations.
Hey, Leopold, here, you want some catnip?
Oh, that might be a bad idea.
He's pretty chill. Twigs might come out here, though, and cause a problem.
Anyway, Tottenham are slipping out of the Champions League places. They've got I don't actually know what their future schedule looks like on offhand.
Tottenham schedule?
Yeah. But I wanted to go down to the relegation fight. Some interesting things happened there. Palace got a draw with Everton. So a point seems big for Everton. Unfortunately, some teams around them picked up 3 points this weekend and pushed them into the relegation zone.
Yeah. A point with 10 men at Palace is actually a pretty good result.
You would think so, yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, things did not go their way. We have Leicester won at Wolves, I think, which we were both kind of surprised by that. We were picking Leicester to probably lose that.
And Wolves were up early in that game, and for a long time.
Yeah, pretty late,
I think.
Leicester comeback.
But anyway, so Leicester moved above Everton on goal difference. And, we're kind of looking at a 5-man race for relegation now from Leeds, Leicester, Everton, Forest, and Southampton. Forest put up a really good fight against Liverpool this weekend.
Yeah, pretty heartbreaking for them that they ended up losing that. But
they were trading punches for a minute in the middle of that game, and it ended with a Mohamed Salah goal. That kind of decided things. But Forest looked like they had a lot of fight left in them.
They did.
Two former Liverpool lads, Taiwo Ayoanini. I'm always
that was a tough one.
But him and Nico Williams
both looked good. Both definitely up for it against their old club.
Put in huge performances. Taiwo looked amazing. Scored a nice goal. I think he had an assist as well. I could be making that up, but Nico Williams definitely did and cleared one off the line. Put in a really great performance. Good for those kids.
Yeah, and it was a highly entertaining game.
Yeah.
You even called it. You said, you're like, let's get an end-to-end shootout here. Let's get some fun stuff going, and it kind of turned into that.
Yeah, I've been watching Liverpool really casually from this point on. I think it's going to take a miracle for us to get Champions League. I'm kind of washing my hands of this season at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm watching games pretty stress-free at the moment.
It's a nice place to be. I've been there for the last few seasons with Arsenal as well.
Right.
It's not the worst thing in the world to watch football casually and comfortably.
No. It's rare, and it is nice. I want to talk Everton a little bit because I've been joking for a long time about them getting relegated, and I kind of never really believed it was going to happen. I don't think, especially once Dyche came in, and I think he won his first 2 games back. He's been putting points on the board consistently. Again, we just said away to Palace. A point is actually a good deal.
Yeah.
But let's look ahead to Everton's remaining fixtures, and it's not pretty. This week they go away to Newcastle. Oh, no, they host Newcastle. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Still terrifying.
Tough. Still tough.
And this, for me, is the biggest game. They go away to Leicester. They have to beat Leicester.
There has to be 3 points for them there. Otherwise.
Yep, they're level on points right now. That's their direct relegation rival. And on either side of that, like I said, they play Newcastle before Leicester. And after that, they've got Brighton and they've got City. There's not going to be points on the board there.
No, they're going to get hurt pretty bad.
And then they close out the season with Wolves and Bournemouth, who Bournemouth will probably still have something to fight for. It's not an easy schedule.
Yeah, Bournemouth seemingly climbing their way out, but also had a hard result at the weekend. So
yeah,
they're still not completely out of that relegation zone.
I said last week that these teams all need 2 wins to get out. I think at Everton, you would say their 2 wins come from Leicester and Bournemouth on the final day.
Yep, they might be a final day drama for Everton.
Everton survive on the final day?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I
want to get Casey on the pod to talk Everton. I asked her once, and she said she hadn't been watching games that closely. It's like, come on, we got to. If they're gonna really look like relegation candidates on the final day, we got to get her on to talk about it.
Yeah,
I don't know any, or recommend another Everton fan. Casey, come on.
Yeah, we need some drama,
right?
I don't think I know any Everton fans.
I just want different perspectives. Casey's literally, well, there's Maggie at Cleo's, but she's a pretty casual Everton fan, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if she'd have
a whole lot to say on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, the final day is shaping up to be a big day this season. Excited for that. It's gonna be a holiday.
Let's take a little glance around Europe. Specifically, I want to look at Italy because Napoli had an amazing win away at Juventus to put their title right on the brink. They went to Juve. Juve had 2 goals disallowed, and Napoli scored a winner in the 93rd minute.
Ooh. Ouch.
Yeah, can you imagine the atmosphere in that stadium?
They have to be so mad. Who was at home?
Juventus was at home. This is in Turin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fury in that stadium.
Speaking of, I saw an incredible video. One of the Napoli players was filming from inside the bus. This amazing parade of Neapolitan motorcyclists escorting the bus back to Napoli, dude. It's just
That's
like
so
a
awesome.
crazy like oceans of like insane Italians on motorcycles following the team bus home.
That's so
It
cool.
was super cool. It was very dramatic.
Italians
like
are-
everything
I
Italians
was
do,
gonna say Italians are so dramatic.
right?
That's
The
insane.
guy who scored the winner, his name is Giacomo Raspadori. It's like, and it got like an awesome scream when he scored it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
cool
Every
stuff.
once in a while, I really love the Italian league.
I'm loving this Napoli title charge, I gotta say.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think like any league, I get bored with them when there's a dominant force like Juventus has been for some time. Now with a resurgent Milan and Napoli, I'm back interested in the Serie A kind of.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, any league, I guess, like that is fun when you have a little bit of some kind of challenge happening.
Right. Yeah.
And that should be a race. Like there's big teams, both
Yeah.
Milan teams, Roma, Napoli now,
Totally.
and Juventus. That should be a good fight every year for
Great
the title.
clubs all. A much, much better kit culture than England, in my opinion,
Seriously.
too. God, kit culture in Italy is so good. But yeah, I also, to get back on my high horse like I love to, the more the Premier League just becomes about this like massive financial product, the more it kind of grosses me out, and the more I'm kind of casting glances at other leagues,
Yeah, that's fair.
just when I want to watch a casual game just for the love of the game.
Yeah.
More and more I'm looking outside of the Premier League for that, because the money, the kind of haves and have-nots in the Premier League is getting pretty gross,
Yeah. We'll see if it's stemmed at any point or if it could just continues on this trend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been enjoying ESPN has coverage of so many different leagues now.
Right.
Like random games are always on. So I've been enjoying throwing on La Liga games here and there.
Right. We've watched some
championship
EFL
games.
championship. We've watched USL, that's second tier US soccer.
Some Detroit City FC
Yeah.
games we've watched.
Yep. Come across this here and there Bundesliga games.
Yeah, it's fun.
Although for all the hype Bundesliga gets for football hipsters, every time I watch a Bundesliga game, it's
It
so
seems
boring.
boring as hell, right?
Yeah.
It's
Fo-
weird.
Football hipsters always act like it's the coolest, most exciting, fun league, and every time I watch it, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, every time there's a big match on, I'm like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I put it on and like 30 minutes in, I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. This is kind of boring.
It's pretty strange.
Yeah, it is. It is because you think with all the teams and the talent
Yeah.
and just the crazy German characters and
Yeah.
the crowds, it would be fun to watch.
I think over the years, I've made multiple conscious efforts to take a deep dive into the Bundesliga. Most recently with, just kind of a douchey interest in Union Berlin.
Oh, yeah.
But, I'm trying to just trend hop, but I can't really, really get involved in the game, it seems like.
Yeah, right. It's not catching you.
Right.
But-
Anyway, I got one true love, and it's Liverpool.
Yeah.
Come
yeah.
on.
It's hard to not.
You know how it goes.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Once you've been ingrained this long, it's impossible
Right?
to switch away. Many times, even in the darkest times, you think you're like, man, this sucks.
Just gonna watch something. I'm gonna become an MLS guy.
MLS guy, or like I'll start supporting some random team in the championship, or like something that like just to like give me anything else to watch or care about, and then. But you see your team's result, and immediately you feel the emotion about whatever happened.
Right.
You're just like, nope, still there. I feel it way too much. Anything that happens with Arsenal.
Let's take a quick glance at the games ahead, because we have really exciting midweek games.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been so mentally lasered in on this City Arsenal game that I didn't really even look at all the matches happening this week, and there's a ton of big matches happening.
So let's move through them pretty quickly. Tomorrow, we have Aston Villa hosting Fulham, which is a big fight for European places.
Yep.
Huge game. Any predictions there? I think Unai is going to have a master plan. I think
Unai's going to win it.
he
Villa
strikes
have
me
been
as a
too
smarter
good.
guy than Marco Silva.
Yeah, I kind of favor him in that battle too. That
Yeah.
chess battle.
Right.
Both teams are good. Fulham haven't been in as good a form as Aston Villa, I believe. Emery seems to have that team clicking. So
Absolutely.
I expect I wouldn't say a blowout or anything, but like a 2-1, 3-1 victory.
Villa have just been so quietly but so consistently climbing that table. I think they're better than Fulham might think.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. They've quietly just done their business.
Right.
They've been dominant.
Then Leeds Leicester's a little bit trickier to call. This is obviously a huge one of the biggest relegation fights left in the season. Leeds hosting, both teams leaking goals like crazy. Leeds have been
a mess.
They've been smashed a couple times recently.
Yeah, this could easily be a shootout.
Leicester coming off a massive win.
Yeah, Leicester coming off a big win, and we did say that we thought maybe Dean Smith was the man for the job.
That's true.
Can
he congeal that Leicester talent?
I guess
to get him through the last month.
Yeah, this is going to be a kind of a test to see if he has actually got them playing again, or if they're just been fluking out a couple of results.
Right.
Because this is a big one for them.
Right.
I could see them showing up and winning that, just because Leeds have looked such a mess at the back.
For sure. Anyway, those are the
Tuesday
headlines
games
for Tuesday. Wednesday starts with Forest hosting Brighton. I expect Brighton to kind of sweep Forest aside. I don't think those are the points that Forest are going to take to get out of the relegation zone. Yeah. Chelsea Brentford's really interesting. Brentford have kind of lost steam a little bit.
Yeah, they're slowly slipping down the table. Obviously, they're comfortably safe and have been all for a long time now. But
yeah, it's not a matter of safety for them, but
they've lost their charge for Europe.
Exactly. Yeah. Do they want a late push for Europe? Talent-wise, yeah, that's a tough one to call right now.
Yeah. Chelsea again, another team in kind of shambles.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be a fun one to watch, though.
Same for West Ham, Liverpool. Don't really know which way it's going to go.
Both teams kind of trending in the right direction a little bit. West Ham have put some big results together. Liverpool have looked...
West Ham are through to a Europa League semifinal, and it seems like it's given them a massive morale boost. They've been playing so much better in the league.
Yeah, 4-0, right, at the weekend?
Yeah.
Over Bournemouth?
Yeah, huge win. Bournemouth isn't that much of a pushover, even though they're down in the mix.
No, you would think that they were, but you look at their recent results, they've been good lately.
Yeah.
So...
And that brings us to the big one on Wednesday. Manchester City hosting Arsenal.
Yeah, this is... Everyone will say this is the title decider, kind of.
Yeah, I'm going to put away the Xbox controllers and all the sharp knives in the house before this kicks off.
This is kind of you would... it's not it. This is not the end because there's games left, but this is kind of it. This is... If Arsenal don't win this game, they won't have the confidence to win the games necessary to finish after this.
More to the point, I think City will just
run away with it
over in a good way.
Yeah. In a way that they're comfortable.
You know how they just turn on the steam and just steamroll the rest of the way through.
Exactly, yeah.
Once they're in a good place, once they're out in front, they just hit the fucking boot.
Yeah,
they hit
cruise.
the nitro and they go.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's like racing. It's so weird when you're watching racing and you see like tight racing happening, but then that one person who's actually way better than everybody breaks through finally.
Yeah.
And then within 3 laps, they're like a lap and a half ahead of everyone. And you're like, oh, shit. Okay. They were just being held back by traffic. Yeah. And like we mentioned, Arsenal are going to have to go for it. No Saliba. He's basically been ruled out. Whispers that he's basically going to be shut down for the rest of the season because it's just not worth risking whatever's happening with his back.
Right.
Very unfortunate. A lot of Arsenal fans panicking about what to do at the back. Is there a solution outside of Rob Holding at right back or at right center back? So it'll be interesting. I hope that Arteta lets Pep do the crazy tinkering and doesn't overthink it. I hope he's learned lessons from being under Pep and let Pep try and trick him with some crazy tactics instead of him trying to change our team too much to trick Pep. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be probably the most stressful game I've watched in a very, very, very long time since FA Cup, the first FA Cup final we won, I think.
Is the plan just to watch it at home?
I don't know. Are you thinking about going out?
I'm too broke.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm also pretty broke as well. So, also it's probably for the best. I don't know if I want to be able to have to hold my emotions and frustrations in a public setting.
Y'all, we're gonna. Yeah, that's true. Actually,
I hate having to act like I'm not that mad about it when I'm in public.
Yeah, remember when I used to not even try and hide it at all?
Yeah, right. Yeah. We've all had those moments.
I used to just be a fully outward psycho about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're also drinking at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. sometimes
That's
in those
true.
days. So
And the early days at Ginger's Ale House in Chicago, they fully encouraged that. I mean,
they love it.
They didn't encourage it. It's not like it was a frat house or anything.
Yeah.
But it was an OG expat smoky bar scene.
Yeah.
And
there was a bunch of drunk morning Brits in there screaming at the TV.
Definitely. It wasn't out of order, as they say, to do some screaming at the TV.
Yeah. I'm sure that's going to happen quite a bit on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It happened over the weekend against Southampton, so it's definitely going to happen against City.
Right. Well, anyway, after that super epic clash, Thursday comes out with some heavy hitters as well. Everton
like it
fighting
slows
for
down.
survival, hosting Newcastle, who, as we recently saw, are prone to taking some teams apart at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be worrisome times for Everton.
Everton were not enjoying watching that Tottenham game as much as we were enjoying it.
No. They were probably staring in fear at that screen.
Right? At the same time, Southampton kicks off against Bournemouth. Huge relegation fight. We say that all the time because this year it's true all the time. Southampton still, even though a lot of people have been dismissing them as the ones to go down since, months ago.
Yeah.
They still look like they have fight in them.
They look like a decent side still.
Right?
It's shocking, but when you like the eye test, you're like, they look decent.
They pass the eye test every
They
time.
don't look like they should go down.
Strange
but
stuff.
they found themselves in there, and they're a long way out, that's for sure.
I definitely don't know any Southampton fans, but man, I would love some insight to that club and squad.
Yeah, right? Because
Yeah.
on paper, it seems like a pretty decent squad they've assembled there.
Right. Anyway, late game that day. It kicks off a half an hour after the others, strangely. Tottenham
Weird
hosting Manchester United. Huge game again for that last Champions League spot.
Yeah, Tottenham manager lists are now Ryan Mason managed Tottenham, have a big job to do.
Right. Fifth hosting fourth. Both of them kind of glancing over their shoulder at some teams chasing them now at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Neither team. I mean, United have had some pretty horrible injuries in
Yeah.
the back line, so that's been tough.
Yeah, United have been pretty decimated. They do have Casemiro back in action, but they're minus, Varane and
I was like, oh no.
the other center back that they think is real good.
Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
Lisandro Martinez.
Lisandro Martinez, who is actually pretty good. Yeah, he's got a broken foot, though.
Yep.
Anyway, what do you think? Manchester United have one eye on the FA Cup final and let Tottenham get away with one here?
Possibly at Tottenham.
Does Tottenham get a big manager boost, even though it's only interim Ryan Mason? He is one of the boys.
He's one of the boys, and based on how things went with Conte, this is part of the reason we were saying it was so weird that his second in command stayed behind.
Yeah.
Is maybe they'll finally get their manager bounce when they finally got rid of that last piece of the puzzle that was driving everyone insane.
They never got the manager bounce before. Leopold, come on, bro.
Leopold is.
How
How are you the one causing chaos today, Leo?
Yeah, what is
this?
wrong
Is
with
not
you?
like you. Here, you want this? This is what you want.
As long as it's still recording, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Didn't shut it off.
GarageBand is doing something weird right now.
Oh no,
Leopold, I swear.
Leo added some sound effects to the pod. Test.
Okay, yeah, looks like we're good to go again. Leopold, you stop jumping on my computer keyboard. Oh my God.
Yeah, Leopold, the nicest of the cats, causing the most chaos today. Now eating out of a bowl of catnip.
Leopold, who has never shown any interest in human food or treats at all through his entire life. He's a 14-year-old cat. He's an old boy. And just this past week or so, he's discovered treats. And
Obsessively
he's
discovered
losing
treats.
His mind. He's like becoming a different personality in his
Yeah.
old age.
Yeah, it's very funny to watch.
Yeah. As it stands, he's sitting here literally just eating a bucket of catnip.
There's a
This
bowl
is
of catnip
terrible
right
idea.
here. He's
All
just
right.
munching on. We're
That's-
trying to keep him distracted for the brief amount of time for us
Right.
to finish the pod.
That's Pet Corner. Where were we now? We were talking about Tottenham.
We're talking
again.
about Tottenham's possible manager bounce.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With the firing of Stellini.
Stellini. Come on. They've got a tough game. They're at home, but United is,
It's not like they've been great at home.
It's still Ten Hag's United that is still looking like they got a pretty solid foundation, even if those defenders are missing. You know.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to them, and we'll get on to the FA Cup, I'm sure here.
Yeah.
But they kind of went toe to toe with Brighton in the FA Cup.
They absolutely did. It surprised both of us.
Yeah, very surprising considering the form Brighton are in and how much we respect them.
Yeah, we've been Brighton fanboys all year. And I did fully expect them to smoke United in that semifinal.
Yeah, just with the defensive, team, the defensive players missing, I expected Brighton to take advantage of that.
Right. But they did not. It went to penalties, and United won it.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, honestly, high-quality penalty shootout.
I did not see it.
The penalties were all very good penalties, except for the one that missed. Blazed over, unfortunately, by Sully March. Yeah, unfortunate for Brighton, but Lindelof actually stepped up. Speaking of the center back fill-in, and tucked a beautiful beautiful penalty right into the top corner.
Nice,
calm as you like to win it. Yeah, it was quite the shootout. Can you hear him doing that?
I would just say no. I would say take it away.
Is he still munching?
I think he's gonna start puking it up. Yeah, he's eating so much.
Buddy, what are you doing? You have no self-control anymore, Leo. You've lost yourself.
Leopold has lost his goddamn mind.
You've lost yourself.
Just like the Roy boys on Succession. No, they're stepping up, dude.
Funny.
Anyway, let's talk FA Cup final. So the FA got what it always dreams of, Manchester
Derby in the final. I mean,
right? No, I think pretty deserved based on both those games. Man City cast aside Sheffield United in the semi.
Yeah, to be expected fairly easily.
Yep, we just talked about United really did put up a good fight.
Very even match against Brighton.
Yeah, you can't argue they didn't deserve that to get past Brighton there. Tough luck for Brighton. I would have loved to see them win the FA Cup this year and get a European place. That would have been a historic season for Brighton.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see.
Still a great season for them.
Yeah, great season and great performance in that game.
So we have a pretty awesome, dramatic FA Cup final is the end result. We can't really complain too much about that.
Yeah, no, it'll be a good match to watch. Hopefully not like I jinxed that match, the United-Brighton match, saying it was going to be a goal fest and it was a 0-0 penalty shootout.
Yeah.
Let's hope we get a not-so-cagey affair in the City United game.
Yeah, I guess I can't look past Erling Haaland and makeshift defense.
Yeah, that's if they don't have any of those players back, which they're not. They're all long-term injuries.
I think so, yeah. At least Martinez is. I'm not sure on Varane.
Varane might be back by then. But, yeah, either way, it's going to be, I mean, anyone against that, even a fit defense against that City attack is going to be brutal. So
right,
I'm sure it'll be a spectacle for sure.
Yeah.
The English will play it up massively.
It's going to be hyped. I want to just mention a couple things coming up. We are in touch with a local league organizer called the Soccer Rebellion, based out of Grand Rapids here, that has a street league launching on Cinco de Mayo, and down in a little city-built group of futsal and street football courts.
Yeah, pretty awesome little project.
Yeah, built by Downtown Grand Rapids Inc.
Yeah.
Which friend of the pod, Marion, may have been involved in.
Yeah, I know she was definitely there for the unveiling. And actually, yeah, just a shout out to them as an organization. They do super cool stuff with the tax dollars. They've opened like skate parks and now futsal and soccer courts.
Yeah, it's cool just to have an organization that is doing nothing but putting investment into developing downtown culture
and community downtown. Yeah,
that's great.
It's important for a city. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the only organization like it in the state.
That's cool.
In all of our cities, which Michigan's not a massive, there's not a lot of ton of big cities here, but it says a lot about Grand Rapids that they do have something in place like that. That's
right,
not common everywhere in America.
But yeah, on Cinco de Mayo, down at Las Conchas, the street league is starting. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. All the teams are sponsored by different cannabis companies and dispensaries,
and all have awesome kits.
They all have awesome kits designed by local artists too, I think.
I think so. I would bet so.
In collaboration with the dispensaries.
Yeah.
Some really, really awesome kits. Undrafted, which has, I think, some of the coolest branding in cannabis, a lot of Ben Wallace imagery.
Yep.
They have an awesome kit that's really tacky, but it has awesome overlay of like
That
Bob
classic
Marley
Bob Marley playing soccer
dribbling,
overlay.
yeah, with the undrafted logo and like just blocky red, blue, and white, sort of Crystal Palace-y color blocking.
Yeah, really cool kit. A lot of those kits I was very into.
It looks super bootleg in a really good way.
but yeah, in the best way possible.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to meeting the people from the Soccer Rebellion and digging into that league a little bit.
Yeah,
It looks like
watching
it's
a bit
gonna
of
be a lot of
futsal
fun.
and watch a little soccer. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I saw clips from last season and some good play.
I bet. I mean, there's
definitely will not be diving in myself.
Yeah, no. I'll stay far away from that. But yeah, no, I imagine there's a good community down there playing.
Anyway, that's about it for me. How about you?
Yeah, just stress until Wednesday at this point for me.
Yes.
I'm just literally, it's like when Christmas is around the corner as a little kid, you're just like, but like kind of the worst Christmas ever coming up, but potentially the best Christmas ever at the same time. So you got to hold out hope. I'll still remember my favorite memory. I think actually was this the last time we beat City at, or were we at home? But the year we choked against when Leicester won the title, and in January I think we beat City when it felt like we were never going to be able to beat City. We finally did it, and it felt unbelievable. And then we went on to not get the results needed after that to win the league. But I still remember that feeling of beating City when it seemed impossible.
Yeah.
So I hold out hope for that feeling again.
That's amazing, dude. And I think that's a pretty positive note to go out on. So let's just call it there. What do you
Let's
say?
do it. I
Yeah.
think that's a good pod.
Right? Thanks everybody again for listening. That was episode 21. We hope to be expanding coverage, as we said, and get some guests in here. Don't be shy. If you know us and want to talk, reach out. Come on the pod. We'll have some fun. And yeah, like,
Thanks.
review, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Bye.
Soccer situation.
Do you know what that audio is from?
The soccer situations one?
The crowd audio. It's from.
Oh, no.
It was from the Euro semifinal, Italy Croatia. I think. What was the semifinal that sent Italy to the Euro final against England?
I think that was Croatia, yeah.
Situation.
Yeah, I just randomly recorded some crowd audio from that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun fact.